At thehockeysite.com, it's about what happens in the locker room, thinking about the game. It's about planning and preparation, and about training and improving those skills, looking at it from different angles. But of course, it's also about teaching them to score and win. Thehockeysite.com. Share the knowledge.
Welcome to the final game out here at Hartleyvale B. It is a very big game indeed as our tournament hosts South Africa take on France in the men's over 45 category, and immediately from the outset there's a bit of a collision in midfield, and one of the French players is on the ground, although he does get his way up. France, in the far corner, smashes one across. Nobody there, comes off the far post and goes out by the sideline. So, it was a very good ball across the face from France, although no striker there to get the stick on the end of it. South Africa happy to keep the ball going around the back. Up the field now for South Africa on the right hand side. He's got options. Ball across the face looking for Cullen, but cut out by France. Although they've got to work this one out of their 23, but they do turn possession back over. Evans back to the right hand side for South Africa now. Big carry by Scott, smashes the ball across. Can't find Berry, and it will be a 16-yard hit to France. Interception from Martin, throwing the ball forward, tries to get it to one of the strikers up front. Unfortunately, he can't. France will come away with it on that far side. Around it goes from Montecor to Captain Bloch at the back, all the way to the far left-hand side. Good transfer by France. Looking for one of the strikers to do some work, but the interception made from Evans. Although getting into the French quarter, they are unable to get anything from it just yet. Unable to create those connections. Big ball from South Africa, comes off a French stick, so it will be another long corner for South Africa. Big ball in for South Africa. It's loose on the far side. Hustling for it is South Africa, and they do win the short corner. So the first short corner of the game goes the way of the men in green. Evans with a drag flick, it's low into the bottom corner, and South Africa take the lead through their captain, Steve Evans, who gets the drag flick low and hard into the corner. It is South Africa 1, France 0. South Africa come again into the circle of France, but this time come away with nothing. France looking to get something going down the right-hand side. It is well worked by De Clercq, who wins the free hit on the right-hand side. Stefan Montecor, dispossessed by Berry, finds Martin on the left-hand side. Counter-attack chance for South Africa. Rolls on the inside, does Berry. Gets the ball forward. It's up off French stick. So it will be South Africa's ball just inside the French 23. It is extremely windy on the Harteveld B field, but what makes it tough is that it's not a wind at the back of either one of the sides. It is a crosswind that is blowing from the far side of the field towards the dugouts. Scott unable to deal with that pass from Wells. So France will have possession inside the 23, although South Africa come upfield to get the high press in. And it doesn't go to plan for France over the baseline for that attempted pass. And it will be a long corner to South Africa. Akel takes it quickly. Looks to link up, gets the French foot on the 23. Taken quickly by Douglas. Or at least that's Van Meyer, I beg your pardon. Van Meyer once again wants it to go quickly. Akel, good turn from the number 14. Once again draws the foul from the French, but no advantage, says the umpire. So it comes to France. Moreau rolls to the inside. Gets it forward, looking for Van Leeklu, who can't get his stick onto the end of it. So the French looking for the three-quarter and a needless pass around the back, much to the frustration of one of the centre halves of South Africa. Because what it does is it gives France possession. Inside South Africa's 23, ball in is cleaned up by Evans. South Africa managed to scramble it away. It's good work by Martin. To the right it goes, looking for options on the right hand side. Nobody there for Palmer. So he's got to hold on to it a little bit. Evans eventually arrives. Van Meyer, good ball off to Akel. And South Africa happy to work the short passes. It's working a treat for them thus far. But they do concede the free hit against Evans. And now the whistle comes in from the umpire. So he just tries to settle things a little bit. So just having a word with the two players involved is the umpire, wanting to cut out all the extra bit of niggle. France that will look to bold it. Into the 23, good little touch, but disrupted by South Africa. This is a very important game for both of these teams in the bigger scheme of Pool B, because as it stands, England have played their 5 matches. They sit on top of the pool with 13 points. France and South Africa are currently engaged in their final match of the pool. South Africa in second place on 10 points. France in third place on 9 points. So there's a spot up for grabs in the semi-final for either one of these teams. Win the game and you're into the semi-finals. It's as easy as that. But there's a little bit extra in it for South Africa. If they can win the game by a margin of 2 goals or more, they will move ahead of England on goal difference, and they'll end up topping Pool B. So French, all they need to do is win the game, and they'll overtake South Africa. South Africa win the game by a single goal, they enter the semi-finals as runners-up in Pool B. They do win the game by 2 goals or more, they'll top Pool B. So there's plenty of permutations involved in just this game. And which way will it end up going? Well, there's still a full game ahead of us. There's 5.5 minutes in the opening quarter, and there's plenty more after that. Good turn on the inside for Martin. Looks for the layoff, but finds the foot of Stefan Montecor. Quickly taken by Martin, smashes the ball through, looking for the high striker. It's there for Williams. Keeps it in field, does Williams. Links up with Bredden. Bredden with a run across. And does draw the foul. Unfortunately for Bredden, the hit goes against him. Van Meyer in midfield for South Africa. He's got 2 French players around him and does win the hit. Good turn and roll by Martin. Lays the ball off for Griffiths. But Griffiths' ball back to him. Doesn't find its mark. Interception this time made from Van Meyer as France look to change the angle of attack. Through the middle is a gap for South Africa to work with. Ball in looking for Bredden, but his stick gets caught up by one of the French players, and it will be a free hit to France. Big ball forward. Chance for South Africa. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. But the French man in between the sticks, Losef, does really, really well to prevent Spencer from adding to South Africa's tally. Big blow of the whistle from the umpire, and he's had enough. He's telling the players to cut out the extra bit of niggle. And perhaps, as this game moves along, perhaps the cards will start flying, especially when you consider what is at stake. And there it is immediately. Not too long. My words have not even left my mouth properly yet. And it's a green card to France. Will end the quarter. 1 man down. Griffiths tries to link up with one of the strikers, can't find him. So France intercept, and they got the chance now to come away with it and end the half on the front foot at least. Big Ball forward. And Rose is unable to get hold of it. And now another green card, this time to Verrier of France, who's going and demonstrating. But it's not going to do much to change the umpire's mind. So another player heads to the sideline for France. And there's been plenty of warnings from the umpires. So 2 green cards in quick succession for France. So South Africa with a 2-man advantage at the moment. See, the entire French side have all gone back to inside their quarter. And just with a few seconds to go, South Africa will happily just keep the ball. Big ball into the circle, looking for the touch. And perhaps not expecting it is Bredin. And hits his stick. At least hits his foot and gives the ball to France. But the hooter goes to signal the end of the first quarter. It is South Africa 1, France 0. So welcome back to the second quarter, and it's a quarter that still sees South Africa with a slender 1-goal advantage, though they have 2 extra men on the field for the next few seconds. So they've got to make the most of it and add to their goal tally. In it comes. It's there loose in the circle, trying to latch onto it is Berry, but kicked away by Losif for France. Big ball finding the man on the baseline, Cullen. Fortunately, Cullen cannot stop it. So the French are back to full complement as both of the players who received green cards in the towards the end of the first quarter return to the field. So no harm done to the French scoreline. Still just the one goal, compliments of a drag flick from the South African captain Steve Evans. He's Evans on the ball now. Tries to work his way through two defenders, draws a harsh tackle, does Evans, and the umpire has no option but to award the short corner to South Africa. And this is where the first goal came from. Will we see Evans line it up again and go for the drag flick? It is Evans at the top of the circle. And it is Evans with a drag flick again. He goes low. Fires this one through the legs of Losif on this occasion. And two short corners for South Africa. 2 goals for the captain Evans. The short corners proving to be a good weapon for South Africa. Well, at this rate, all they're going to need to do is just get short corners and let Evans flick the ball. Because that is what has borne them fruit in this game. Ball across now, the chance for France. Marot has a shot, out comes Halvik. Pulls off the save, does Steve Halvik. South Africa able to scramble the ball away and out by the sideline. But it remains in French hands. Verrier looks to spark something. He's got Evans with him. Verrier slips, spills possession, but it's hard work from Barbe Carré to keep the ball in, or at least on the French sticks. Ball through is claimed by Lebre, just outside the South African circle, and Lebre impedes a South African defender, so it will be ball to South Africa. Scott, first touch lets him down. Big ball for France on the baseline. Doesn't have any options as he's well marshaled by South Africa in the far corner. Now all he can do is pop the ball onto a South African stick. It's good work by Palmer in defense for the men in green. Change of channel for the French block. Now onto the right hand side. Interception though made by Berry. Continues to fight, does Berry, as Cullen now comes in to help. And there's space for Bedden on the right hand side. Braden makes the run. Good little elimination by Braden. He's got long legs, but Bloch is there, the French captain, to win it back. Braden continues to fight, but Bloch eventually emerges with the ball. Tries to go quickly, does Bloch, loses possession. That comes off the wrong side of the stick, so South Africa in the ascendancy. Cullen goes back to that side to Spencer. Evans. Good ball back to Cullen on the top of the circle. It's a bit scrappy, but Cullen still has it. Has the back stick, as Cullen. And deemed to have come off the wrong side of the stick, that backhand shot. So it'll be France that will come away with the ball. Big ball forward. Von Meyer gets a stick onto it, and a free hit to France. Big ball forward and over the baseline it goes for a 16-yard hit to South Africa. Cullen looks for options up ahead. Scott is making the overlap for him. Big ball forward by Scott. Looks for Martin. It's just out of the reach of Martin. So with the baseline it will go. Give the possession back to France, although France have got a build from inside their 23. Monteco for France. Marshalled well, draws the advantage. Monteco continues his carry. He's got a player with him. And Van Leerkloe, and again the big body check from Griffiths this time goes against South Africa, and will be a short corner to France. The first time we get to see the French short corner battery do a little bit of work. So as we await South Africa to get themselves steady with all the protective kit. It's there for France. Verrier with the ball through. Comes off the stick of South African, and the rebound by Monteco goes past the near post. So South Africa come away with it. France now with a little bit of possession and have the momentum with him at the moment. Into the circle, good challenge by Von Meyer. South Africa look to break away now down the left-hand side. Williams rolls it forward. Martin down the left-hand side, strong carry for him into the 23. Akel in support for the layback. Griffiths eliminates the oncoming defender, has his eyes up, gets the ball in, that's Griffiths, but straight into the upper body of a defender in front of him. Big tussle in midfield. And it's the French that come away with it now on the right hand side. Moreau, big ball across, man open there, but Halvik is equal to task for South Africa. Misplaced pass by South Africa, and this is just putting themselves under pressure. Round the back for France. Bloch, Monteco. Surveys his options, does Monteco. Goes back to Captain Bloch, although it is just out of reach on the right hand side. Nice turn from Cullen. Unfortunately, it just spills off his stick. It's a good first, or at least a good attempt at spinning past the defender. Scullen goes prowling once again. Verrier goes back to Captain Bloch. Eichel makes the interception in midfield, but he's tackled by France. Big ball forward for them. Nice little touch and roll from Babe Carré into the circle, straight across the face of the circle. No touch, no French player there. So it'll go into touch on the far side for a South African sideline hit. Attempted interception by Van Leeklu. Doesn't get his stick, so goes directly into the sideline on the near side. French will have possession once again. They got a bit of momentum now to the French. They've got minutes of possession. South Africa defending for all their might. In it goes into the circle, the ball's loose. Eichel makes the challenge. Tries to run the ball out as Martin. Again, a solid tackle from South Africa. Play on is the call. Dos Santos is under pressure. A good tackle from Harris. Around the back for France, Moreau to the left-hand side. Under a bit of pressure is Senless, whose first touch takes the ball away from him. Bloch now through the middle. Good little touch on it from Antoine Montecourt. Eichel is there to try and mop things up. He can't. So it remains French possession inside South Africa's 23. 4 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes till half time. What's it going to be? A little bit of movement and a tackle made by Eichel as Cullen comes away with it on the left-hand side. He's got a little bit of support in Martin, but just a bit too much of a stretch for Martin. Cullen gets his stick in the way as France tries to take it quickly. France having to build from inside of their own half. Every single South African player is inside the South African half of the field. Verrier to the right hand side to Montecourt. Stéphane Montecourt, that is. Nice little touch on from Moreau. Falls kindly for Dos Santos. Ball comes across. Chances there for Antoine Montecourt. Good save by Stephen Halbeck in the South African goal. And Antoine Montecourt goes down in a pile, clutching his leg, although he's up very, very quickly. And there's no need for the medical staff, who was called on very quickly by the umpire. Although Antoine Montecourt does seem, though he's walking a bit gingerly. Umpire just having words with the players about all the off-the-ball niggles and the extra bit of impetus that they are putting their bodies on the line for. Rolling to the right, big ball in, hits the foot of Eichel in the circle, and it will be a French short corner. Two minutes to go. Unfortunately for Verrier, the ball comes off his foot. Counter-attack opportunity for South Africa. Plenty of numbers forward. High strikers are there in possession now. In it comes to the P spot. It's loose. Scotty, big shot comes in. And it falls kindly for the captain, Evans, who's got a hat-trick. Stephen Evans pops up in the right place at the right time. An open goal at his mercy. A bubbling ball turned into goal. And it is South Africa 3, France 0. The perfect way for South Africa to respond after being under pressure. They launch a counter-attack. Get the ball quickly from a short corner defensive position down the line into the French circle. And they add a third goal. They want more as Akel comes away with it, but tied it up. So as the clock ticks away in the second quarter, South Africa will be happy to just run the clock down and head into the halftime break with the 3-goal cushion. Keeping it patient around the back are South Africa, but the ball goes over the sideline on the far side. Not only over the sideline, but gets caught up in the advertising. And the French are able to retrieve the ball. Got to get the ball into the circle to the French. They do, and Halvik once again, presence of mind to just let it run through as the hooter goes to signal the end of the second quarter. So that's half-time between South Africa and France, and courtesy of a hat-trick from captain Stephen Evans, it is South Africa 3, France 0.
we are fascinated.
So welcome back. So we get the second half underway between France and South Africa, and it is a somewhat comfortable 3-0 lead for South Africa. All the goals coming from the stick of their captain Steve Evans. 2 drag flicks from the short corner, and then 1 field goal where he turned the ball in from the P spot after a brilliant counter attack from the men in green. Now breakaway chance. Evans tries to laser off for Bredden on the outside, but the interception made by Cohen for France. And France will now come away with it. Into French territory. Go South Africans. Bredden looks for the intercept. I can't quite make it. Good work, though, by Senless for France to get himself and his team under and out of the pressure situation. Switching the ball to the far side of the field of France. Overhead now, but no striker on top there for France. Perhaps it's more to get them out of the defensive area than anything. Van Meyer spills it in his 23. France now with a chance at the top. Good ball across and fantastic goal from France. Ball latched onto by Moreau. Finds Lebré on the far post, and there's nothing that Halvik could do about that one in the South African goal. So, at the start of the third quarter, the French have hit back. Scott in position on the right hand side as South Africa look to strike immediately from conceding. Under pressure is Martin, but does well to ride 2 tackles and win the free hit for South Africa. Scott again. Just doesn't have the first touch today, does Scott. Bredden applying the pressure. High press from South Africa. Senless decides this time to go down the line, and that is a good win for South Africa. Scott rolls it to Evans. 3 men around Evans and manages to work his way out of it. Quick shift. Evans receives it again in midfield, rides a tackle, and does win the free hit. Up it goes for Spencer into the circle. Nice take from Berry. Unfortunately, the hit goes against South Africa. France with a big ball forward. Unfortunately for Barrett Carré, not quite getting the execution. So it remains in possession for South Africa. Big ball across, finds Martin on the far side, rolls to the inside. Looking for options is Martin. Making the overlap is Scott. Gets the ball now into the 23. Smashes one in, comes off a French stick. And it is a South African hit just outside the circle. Again, a chance for South Africa comes to naught as the ball goes over the baseline. It'll be a 16-yard hit to the French. Play on the call. Akel rolls the ball forward. Unfortunately, Spencer unable to get control of it. So here come the French through the middle. Once again, good ball through for Lebré, their goal scorer. It's a fantastic tackle at the back by Douglas for South Africa, drawing in the foul and winning the free hit. Griffiths, good little 1-2. Unfortunately, just can't get past France. French will come away with it once again in midfield. Good spell of play this for the French, but an equally good tackle from Von Meyer. South Africa look to get it going quickly. And, the umpire just settling things down a little bit. That niggle is back that we saw in the opening 2 quarters. Overhead, looking for the run of Bredden, neatly taken by the number 9, rolls into the circle, has the shot! And unfortunately misses the target on the near post. It was there for Bredden to take. He absolutely smashed that one. And now a bit of chirping from the goalkeeper, Losif, on the umpire. And the umpire is giving him a word and a piece of his mind to let him know that if he continues, he will be put off this field. Good space for Senlis. Rolls the ball forward. Nice little touch across. It's a foot race now. But Egidio loses out to Griffiths. Good run from Griffiths. Unfortunately, as the ball rolls away from him. Once again, Senlis in possession for France on the 23. Infield it goes to Lebré. Continuing his run as Lebré into the circle now. But a good tackle from Meyer as he comes away with it now. From just a bit of a stretch for Bredden to get the ball under control. Big ball in for France. Comes to naught as nobody can get a touch onto it inside the circle. Interception from Maru for France. Can they break away? There's space on the left-hand side for Lebray. It does find Lebray. Rolls back on the inside. He's got a chance for the shot. Decides to lay it off. And misses on the far post. Perhaps Lebray needed to be a little bit more selfish in that moment. He had the ball in acres of space at the top of the circle. Could have tested Halvik with a shot. Decided to lay it off. But his partner, teammate on that far post, was unable to turn the ball into the back of the net. How crucial will that miss be? How much of an impact is that going to have? Scott does well under a bit of pressure. France smelling blood as they put their high press in, trying to dispossess South Africa high up in the field. Spencer does well for South Africa. You can just see the French passion with every blow that goes against them. They want to know exactly why. Turnover by Van Leeklu from that overhead attempt across the field from South Africa. Verrier now to the right hand side. Needle cut infield by Montecourt, dispossessed but falls for Verrier. Ball goes in and a deflection. Flamberbray goes over the poles. So the definite momentum with the French at the moment. South Africa are trying to hang on, despite them having a 3-1 lead in this game. Counter-attack chance now, as Griffiths makes the lead down that far right-hand side. It does come off a French stick, so it is Griffiths that will take it quickly. Looks for Cullen at the top of the circle. Good stepping by Bloch for the French. Lebray, once again, the goal scorer for France. It's being marshalled well, but the ball does cross the sideline. Perhaps a bit too casual was Lebray. Big ball upfield for Cullen, keeping it infield nicely. He's got Williams in the circle. Isolated is Williams. Here comes the cavalry as Williams looks to win the short corner. Nothing there, says the umpire. And Montecourt will come away with it eventually, though. A very, very late call from the umpire. In consultation with his partner on the other side, he does indeed award the short corner. So it will be a South African short corner with just over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. An early break from France, and that means that one of that players, in fact the player who broke early was number 13, Babé Carré, will have to vacate the premises and head back to the halfway line. So one less man in defense. Von Meyer goes back to the pusher, snapshot from Martin, doesn't get the connection that he hoped for, and will go over the baseline. Ball forward for France, looking to catch South Africa on the break. Interception made by Lebray, but he is tackled well by Ekel for South Africa. As Douglas with the ball down the side and goes into touch on the far side. Cohen beats the first defender, but doesn't get past Akel. But Akel adjudged to have impeded Cohen on that occasion. Big ball through from Verrier. It's loose in the far post. And head in hands moment for the French. Declare all alone on the far post. Couldn't get enough stick on it. And a superb chance for them again comes to naught. And now South Africa breakthrough. Van Meyer through the middle. Sends it forward into the circle. Cannot keep it in field. Williams. So end-to-end stuff in this third quarter. Both sides giving it their all. Remember, there's a lot on the line. There's a space and a spot in the semi-final up for grabs. It's a must-win game for France. South Africa can afford a draw. Although if the scoreline remains as is, South Africa will be tied at the top. They'll be tied in their Pool B. With England. I beg your pardon, they won't be tied with England. South Africa will move ahead of England on goal difference. So the French have got to win this game. They've got to overturn, at the moment, they've got to overturn a 2-goal deficit. They were 3-0 down heading into the third quarter. They managed to grab a goal. How many more can they get? They need to get another 3 if they are to win this game, and if South Africa doesn't score anymore. Fighting for it. There's Akel. Just over a minute left in the third quarter. Bloch. In a bit of space, he's got time, does the French captain. Comes back to the left-hand side for Verrier. There's space for France now. Going back is Senless. Big ball across, it's loose. And away by Scott. Bloch, first time ball, intercepted by Akel. Cullen. Rides a tackle from Lebray. And there's that niggle that we want to see. Plenty of talk, and Lebray shown a green card. Can protest all you want, an umpire. It now changes his mind, the umpire. Lebray continues to talk and has upgraded the green card to a yellow. So for the next 5 minutes, for the last few seconds of this third quarter, plus some extra time in the fourth quarter, the French will be down a man. And it is their goal scorer who's going to be sitting on the sideline. And do we call it already? Is it starting to become desperate times for France if they want to get themselves into the semi-final? Or is that too early to say? And that is the horn to signify the end of the third quarter. And at the break, it is South Africa 3, France 1. So welcome back to the final quarter between France and South Africa, and immediately from the resumption of play, France come attacking, pretty much picking up where they left off at the end of the third quarter. And it's all to do for the French. They've got to overturn a 2-goal deficit at this point. And for them to advance to the semi-finals, they have to win this game. For South Africa, a draw is enough to get them into the semi-finals. But a 2-goal cushion for South Africa will take them to the top of Pool B and put them in pound position come semi-final day tomorrow. Into midfield, big challenge coming in from the French number 9 Moreau. But South Africa do ride the tackle well and win the free hit. Griffiths keeps it impaled, but not for long enough. And just time called as South Africa make a goalkeeper substitution. Steve Halvik is being pulled from the field, and coming into play is the number 21 Legat that'll come into the field. So a good game for Stephen Halvik. Kept South Africa in the game for long periods, pulled off a save or two. So Legat has got to continue to do that for South Africa in goal. Griffiths rises high to claim the ball. It falls kindly now for Martin. Rolls to the right hand side where Cullen is waiting. Big lead being made by Berry up front. Does indeed find Berry. Eliminates the first defender and wins the hit, does Berry. So job done, one would say. Cullen on the baseline gets the ball across. Played by Bloch, but Cullen is there once again. Pops the ball onto the foot of Verrier. And it will be a short corner to South Africa. And on this occasion for South Africa though, Captain Steve Evans is on the field. He's grabbed 2 drag flicks already in this game. He's got a hat-trick of goals, his third one being a field goal. Can he make it a hat-trick of short corner goals? It is Evans again! This time it goes agonizingly wide. Had the keeper beaten, had the postman beaten, and he even had the target beaten as he failed to find it. France now coming down the right hand side, although they ran out of space on the far side. Big ball across, Cullen on the back stick! Save by Losif. The ball doesn't go too far though. South Africa remaining possession. Spencer with the ball through. Comes off a French stick. It will be a long corner to South Africa. French trying to work their way through. It comes off the foot of Van Meyer. Big overhead from France, looking for the forward. Good take from Barrett. Carré keeps it in field now, but can't get past Douglas for South Africa. Good tackle. Gets it going quickly as they work the short passes to South Africa. In fact, it's not Douglas, the number 10, it's Palmer. From here, that 10 looks like an 8. So apologies to Mr. Palmer. Moreau for France. Verrier rolls it to Lebray on the right hand side. Strong carry from Lebray, rolls into the circle, lays it back through a myriad of players, and a big swipe from Montecor. And a hit goes the way of South Africa. Evans, big overhead forward now. Chance for Cullen, one-on-one with Losef, who's committed. Brilliant save from Losef. Fantastic work from the goalkeeper. He had to come out, Losef. He had to make the save. And indeed he did. Play resumes. France looking to work a big ball across. That's good ball from France across the field. And they've got acres of space now to work with, but deciding to hold the ball up, and that just allows South Africa to get numbers behind the ball and realign themselves on defense. Fortunately for Montecor, ball just hitting his foot, but taken quickly. Cullen is high. He's got the ball on his stick. Bloch is in front of him. Tries a little dink pass, Bloch. Cullen's continuing the go. Has a shot! The ball falls kindly on the far post. And it is in by South Africa. They have their 4th goal. And the importance of filling the critical areas. A brilliant pickup from Cullen. A good little run from him into the circle, rode a few tackles, got the ball into the circle, had the shot. Losef made the save, but then it fell kindly for Williams on the far post, who popped the ball into the back of the net. And South Africa restore their 3-goal advantage. Turnover for South Africa. Brennan tries to fight his way past 3 defenders. He can't. And the French win the free hit just outside the 23. Good touch on the stick. It does. Falls kindly though for South Africa. As Sevens in possession. Rolls it into the midfield to Von Meyer. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. Into the circle for South Africa. Williams tries to get the short corner. He can't. And it pops off a South African foot. And the French will come away with it. The game has really opened up. Got just under 9 minutes to go in the game, and it's now end-to-end stuff. The French will have to overturn this 3-goal deficit and then get some more. A reminder that this is a must-win game for France. For South Africa, a draw is good enough to advance. Good tackle from Van Meyer. But I can guarantee you, South Africa are not going to want a draw. They want to win this game. And they want to do it with as many goals as they can. Palmer. Big ball to the left-hand side. It's there for South Africa to use. Hey bro, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster here on this fucking scaffolding. The way this thing is moving from this wind. Turnover by South Africa. Braden with a chance. Griffiths making the run ahead. On the left-hand side is Williams in support. Out it comes to Van Meyer. Tries to get the ball into the circle. Hits the foot of a French player. And it will be a short corner to South Africa. And a change of decision for the umpire, deeming that South Africa were taking too long to get the short corner going. So gives the 16-yard, and now Van Meyer is shown a yellow card. So South Africa will be down by a man for the next 5 minutes. Cohen sends the ball into the midfield. A pocket is formed by South Africa as they try and get the French to come away. And the umpire just off screen has given Van Meyer a reprimand and has made it a 10-minute suspension. So that means South Africa will close the game out with 10 men on the field for now, at least. 6 minutes in the game, and they are guaranteed to finish the game with 1 man less, at least. And at this point, I want to apologize to Berry, because it was him that grabbed the goal for South Africa and not Williams. So apologies to Mr. Berry. Rather late than never, they say. Big clash in midfield. And the ball's there for Braden, but it's stolen by Verrier. Good hustling by the French. It seemed as though Braden was going to unleash a shot. Ball won by Braden in midfield for South Africa. Counter attack is on. 3v2 situation. He's got Cullen to his right. Braden goes on his own. Rides a tackle of Verrier. And then wins the penalty stroke for South Africa. Absolutely brilliant work by Braden. And Verrier got himself tangled up and laying prone inside the circle. The umpire had no choice but to give the penalty stroke. Cullen, low, hard to the keeper's stick side. And Cullen puts the ball away to extend South Africa's lead to 5-1. And with 4 minutes to go on the clock, 4 goals, the difference between the sides. One could say the result is in the bag for South Africa, and that it would be South Africa that'll end up topping Pool B. Now a word again between Harris and Moreau by the referee on the far side. There's always just been that extra little niggle in the game, just a little bit extra when tackles are coming in, just a little bit extra off the ball, and perhaps that is to be expected in a game that is a must win. Big ball across, looking for the open man in Salison inside the South African circle. He can't keep hold of the ball onto his stick. And that chance, or that half chance, comes to naught for the French. Cullen down the right hand side, big tackle from Van Lee Kloo. And South Africa will perhaps just try to slow things down with 3 minutes to go in the game, knowing that the job is almost done. Garrett around the back looking for Scott, under a bit of pressure is Scott, but does well to win the free hit. Ball comes quickly out to Cullen. Rolls it for Braden. Good touch by Braden. But France able to clear their lines. Big space on the far side. And pulling up very quickly is Harris. Almost seemed as though the sniper got involved. But Harris dodged the bullet. Play on, there's the call from the umpire, although the one closest to the dugout had blown his whistle. So less than 2 minutes on the clock. South Africa 4 goals ahead. Big ball forward. Berry for South Africa. Can he grab a second? Wins the short corner as he draws the foul from Verrier. And a yellow card to Verrier. So the French will end the game with 10 men. This game has had it all. It's had green cards, yellow cards, 6 goals already, plenty of chatter, plenty of niggle. And that's just the way you want to close off the pool stages of the men's over 45 division at the Masters World Cup. Because it just shows you how passionate these teams are. Just shows you how much representing your country means to every single one of these players. Whether you're in a green jersey or a white, it doesn't matter. You want to give it your all. Berry with a big shot, and Berry gets it in! He gets it past the kickers of Losif. Berry gets his second, and it's a 6th goal for South Africa. 6-1 the score now. So if it had not been a foregone conclusion before that goal from Berry, it is now. South Africa will have the comfortable victory. As the seconds tick away The final hooter will sound, and it is South Africa that will claim the 6-1 victory over France. It'll be South Africa that tops Pool B on goal difference. And unfortunately for the French, they miss out on the semi-finals. So that's the way that this game ends. It is South Africa 6, France 1.
That waiting for the gun, the nerves are just too much, thinking about what is about to go down.
There goes the horn to start the race.
No, I think it's really amazing. And now the whole setup and people are dressed up.
We're giving something, I think, to the people. It's just fantastic.
The support on the side of the road is second to none, and that gives you the extra oomph.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. The scenery is beyond what I could imagine. I seriously enjoyed it. I met so many wonderful people on the way.
Really enjoying Cape Town. People seem to really appreciate artwork here, which is really nice.
Come and visit Cape Town. We are waiting for you with open arms. We welcome you here. This will remain a city of hope and opportunity for everyone, not just in Cape Town, but around the country and the world.
And he takes the tape.
Cape Town is open, safe and ready to host you.